Shane Dawson is a controversial YouTube comedian who has made a lot of obscene and grotesque content over the past decade or so during his time on YouTube. Around June 2020, triggered by the Black Lives Matter movement, he started to gain widespread backlash for his previous content, which included using blackface in his comedy skits on a regular basis, making obscene crude sexual jokes, and just gross content in general. I certainly don't find this acceptable, but maybe the real reason Shane was just now getting held accountable has nothing to do with morals or society enlightening, and rather has more to do with him losing popularity points, as many content creators who made similarly obscene content weren't facing nearly the same backlash as he was. Family Guy frequently makes jokes that are extremely racist, ableist, sexist, and highly grotesque in nature overall. Shane Dawson was getting chewed out for having a scene of someone eating feces in his movie Not Cool. Yet where's that same level of backlash for when Family Guy has a feces consumption scene in their episode titled Brian and Stewie, Season 8, Episode 17? South Park is obviously just as bad if not worse. Did you know that there was literally a child rape scene in their episode titled It's a Jersey Thing, Season 14, Episode 9? I didn't think that it was funny, but according to some, it's supposed to be, and I'm just too sensitive if I don't find a child getting raped to be very entertaining. If people were really starting to care about decency, shouldn't there be the same level of backlash for Family Guy and South Park? Something just doesn't seem to add up. When I first saw him do blackface, I was surprised that that was even allowed on YouTube. Keep in mind that especially back then in the late 2000s, a lot of YouTubers were getting into a lot of trouble for having copyrighted music in their videos. Just having 15 seconds of a song in your video without permission could get you into so much trouble with YouTube. There were many YouTube channels that were having their videos taken down, and sometimes having their entire channels suspended or deleted altogether. Again, this could happen if you just had a 15 seconds clip of a song in your video without proper permission. They didn't even care if you put the credits in the video. No mercy, all retribution. But blackface? No big deal, apparently. YouTube didn't punish Shane Dawson with any consequences for that, as far as I'm aware. And what happened to you back then if you said that you didn't like Shane Dawson's videos because of his obscene content? Well, now, you would get chewed out and told that you were too sensitive and just can't take a joke, very similar to how a lot of people will react if you don't like Family Guy or South Park for being too offensive. Yet during this particular segment of time, the Vox Populi has shifted their fickle opinion here and will act like you are crazy for not getting offended by Shane's content. So what about Family Guy and South Park? Is there that same level of backlash for those shows? Not that I'm aware of. I did do a pretty good search online, and I just didn't find a whole lot of evidence for a widespread movement to demonize and cancel South Park and Family Guy like there is with Shane Dawson. The only thing that I found was that Family Guy decided to cast a black voice actor to play a black character, and the voice actor was originally white. It just seems like kind of a random thing of all the highly offensive content that they could have apologized for and or set the record straight on. This seems to be a fairly mild issue overall. I personally was never really aware of there ever being any strong backlash from the African American community when it came to Family Guy using a Caucasian person to play the voice of an African American character. Not even during this particular segment of time. It just seems like Family Guy just picked one random thing to improve on just to save face and gain brownie points during this period of civil unrest. I just wish that there was more consistency across the board. What are the rules? That is a very simple question that seems to get a different answer all the time. Why doesn't Family Guy and South Park get held to the same standard as Shane Dawson, and met with the same level of backlash if they don't comply? It seems like we are in a game of roulette where it's just random chance whether we will be deemed too sensitive or virtuous and heroic for criticizing obscene content. The punishments for making obscene content also vary randomly. Sometimes, you can make highly offensive, obscene content, and get a total free pass, plus lots of money in return. Or, you may be met with vitriol and retribution by society as a whole while they self-righteously demonize you, and wonder why you are such a monster and how could you possibly think that this was okay. I can pretty much guarantee you that the reason why Shane Dawson thought that it was okay was because it seemed to him like he was in that special kind of obscene content category like Family Guy and South Park, and if you don't like it, then just don't watch it, pansy. That's why he thought that it was okay. It's because society told him that it was okay, along with a wide variety of other people who did the exact same type of thing. Now, I certainly don't think that his content is okay or South Park and Family Guy's, but I am just so sick and tired of the inconsistency and the guessing that we are all expected to do at a wide variety of levels. The rules are inconsistent and seem to change on a whim's notice, but even those changes rarely apply to everyone when it does happen. So often, we are essentially left to guess what is acceptable, and whether we will be vindicated for feeling offended by obscene content, or mocked for feeling offended by obscene content. For a certain amount of time, you were mocked for feeling offended by Shane Dawson's content, but now you are vindicated. I just wonder how long it will be when those who said that Family Guy and South Park's humor was just fine, and you are a pansy if you don't like it, will then be eating their words, and largely staying silent when the tides shift and Family Guy and South Park are now facing the fickle wrath of society.